So we have here the NCAA hockey tournament. In the men's hockey tournament, we have 4 regionals, and they're at neutral sites. You're not seated, like the one closest, or you're not playing on campus sites. Where you host like the first 2 rounds. No, you're not doing that. You're just playing 2 games. First round's at a neutral site, and then the second round, the regional semifinal and final, which is the first round and the quarterfinal, are hosted at one site. For 2 games, there's 4 different sites. You used to do it to where like one game was on ESPN2 early in the day, maybe, and then it was on ESPN U maybe later, and then they might have like one of the transition games. They have 2 on ESPN2 U, like the later games at night, like 2 of them, and then they had to have one that was one on ESPN2. You'd have the second game of that, maybe on ESPN News. But no. This year they're not having all of them on TV this year. This year they're not. This year they're actually backtracking the number of games that they're having on televised networks. They're having Ohio State and Boston University at 2 Eastern on ESPN U in the 2 regional semi. And then we have the first Fargo regional semifinal, Minnesota State and Western Michigan at 5 Eastern ESPN U, and they're all on ESPN Plus. And 5:30 Eastern ESPN Plus exclusively is Cornell number 2 Michigan State, and Massachusetts and Minnesota is 8:30 Eastern ESPN2 and ESPN Plus. Then we have Bentley and number 1 overall seed Boston College in the Manchester regional semifinal at 2 Eastern on the 28th on ESPN U and ESPN Plus. The Allentown regional semifinal between Quinnipiac and UConn is at 5 Eastern ESPN U and ESPN Plus. And then 5:30 Eastern is Denver and Providence's second Manchester regional semifinal. And Penn State and Maine, 8:30 Eastern in the second Allentown regional semifinal. So they're having the very last game of the night, the last game at night. Either, I'm surprised they're not having you know what I mean? I'm surprised by that. Yeah, they're having one on ESPN News. And then we have one of the 2 regional finals, a 4 and 6 Eastern on Saturday, and then 4 and 6 Eastern ESPN U, and then 4:30 and 7 Eastern are on ESPN2, and they're going to be decided based off the. I'm kind of surprised they're on ESPN2 on Saturday the 28th. But what is on Saturday though? I know on ESPN they're going to have they're having that's why, because they can't, because they're having the ESPN women's basketball tournament, 2 Sweet 16 games in the ESPN, and then they're having top ranked boxing. They're having the night session games. Because ESPN gave them. ESPN decided to use the 2 morning session games. Afternoon session games, 2 of them. 1 of the regions. Probably the Birmingham region and they're putting them on ESPN or ABC, and then they're putting an NHL game they usually do in the afternoon, and then they do an NHL game in the afternoon and an NBA game at night on ABC. They're doing an NHL game at night because when the NCAA basketball, men's basketball tournaments are, men's and women's basketball tournaments are, usually they don't do that, so then ESPN2 is having the UFC Fight Night, Monroe versus Egg. I'm not for sure how to pronounce it, but they have the prelims and the main card. They just have NCAA baseball, Stanford, Virginia. And then they'll have the main card, and the prelims and main card on there. And they usually have early prelims. But no, they're not having early prelims. And yeah, they also have the one in Spanish. But they don't have all the prelims on there to do the soccer. But yeah, that's what they're doing. And then they're having Love Mass versus Love Us. So that is why, though. Because of what they're having. So. And then on Sunday, they're not really having, they're just having National Cross League. So that's how the regional finals are going to move to ESPN 2 instead. And one could move to ESPN, but it's not going to because they are having the UFL. But it could move to ESPN because if I heard the UFL, I don't watch the UFL really, but I don't watch the UFL, but I heard something pop up that they're having a lockout. Could be having a lockout, so if they have a lockout of that league, and on ESPN, we'll have to show them, Then we'll have to show the game. Then I'll have to show some of those to replace it with, And that'll be stuff from ESPN 2. And then I'll show one of this regional semis on ESPN. And on ESPN, the second one on ESPN 2, so.